future members, and friends. Welcome to NMA Live's book event, Beyond the White Coat, Unleash Your Influence as an Author. I am your moderator tonight, Joy D. Calloway, and I have the pleasure and honor of serving as the National Medical Association's Executive Director. I'm very excited to have this event tonight. I know there are so many aspiring authors in our membership, and this is your pathway. I'm pleased to introduce our key speaker this evening, Dawn D. Owens. She is an author, a speaker, a coach, a publisher, and the founder of the Owens Publishing Company, TOPC. This organization is on a mission to help high-achieving professional leaders like yourselves transfer their knowledge into written legacy. Through her unique methodology of combining career and author coaching, she has successfully helped clients launch new careers as authors. And this has resulted in new business opportunities for them, increased income, and becoming a respected subject matter expert in their field. Dawn received her education at The Ohio University, the University of Akron, and Cornell University. She has been recognized as a certified professional book marketing consultant. She's a member of the Nonfiction Authors Association, the Independent Publishers Guild, and the Independent Book Publishers Association. Her work has been featured in many publications and media outlets, including U.S. Reporter, Fast Company, New York Weekly, and others. Believe it or not, she has a love not only for the written word, but also for baking, traveling the globe with her husband, Jesse, and now being partnered with the National Medical Association. I'm so excited to be here tonight and introduce Dawn. After her presentation, we will introduce our other keynote, and then we will move into a group discussion. Dawn, the floor is yours.
First, thank you so much. I want to just thank you for this wonderful opportunity. I'm so excited. And I also want to thank Jennifer and Donna, and I want to thank all the participants that are viewing and beaming in today, streaming in today. So thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay. So Joy so eloquently already gave an introduction, so I don't have to do that, but I will say one more thing, that from the time that I could read, I had a passion for books. I just have to say, this is my God-given assignment and my passion to help people tell their stories. So let's talk about this webinar. So this webinar is for you if you have a deep inner knowing that it's time for you to write that book. Something has been after you, stirring in your heart, and you know that you know that you know it's time for you to write that book. Maybe you've been putting it off and you're tired of running. This is for you. You're in the right place. Or perhaps you stopped and started the process too many times with no success. Maybe years have gone by and you just haven't been able to get to the finish line. This is for you. If you are also truly ready to take the first step, this is for you. And if you're already an author, but you're looking to become more educated on how you can freshen up your book, or looking for new ideas or additional services or ways to market, this is also for you. What will you learn today? You will understand why your why is the key to clarity in this process. How a proven process can help you overcome fear. Why setting goals and accountability, that's going to help you save time. You're going to also learn the benefits of becoming an author, how to use your book, your future book, to grow your business, how to make more money with a book. We all need additional income streams in this day and age, right? So we're going to learn how to make more money with the book and more. So let's talk about the problems and challenges that people have. These are a few that I hear. Maybe you like the idea of writing a book, but you're not really sure what to talk about. Or you want to write, but the publishing process, it just seems complicated and intimidating. Or you've thought about writing, but you're already so busy. Like, when will you ever have the time to write a whole book? So we're gonna address those challenges. First, if you like the idea of writing a book, but you're not sure what to talk about, the first thing you need to do is know your why. But before I get into that, I want to just say this. I want to offer a word of encouragement, okay? Because first of all, I need you to understand that you have something valuable to say, okay? Your ideas and your stories and your experiences, they are all valuable and they matter. Sometimes people think because they don't have a huge platform or that nobody wants to hear their story. And that's not true. You have something to say. So, don't let that objection or that fear that comes up talk you out of sharing. It doesn't matter whether you impact 1 million people or 10 people. I'm one of those people that think you can make a difference touching 10 people, 20 people, 50 people. You could change someone's life who then may go on to affect 1 million people. But you're so valuable. So please share your story because it can change the world. I also believe that everyone has a story, okay? And if you have one story, you have two. And if you have two, you have five. So I know you have multiple books in you, okay? So I want to encourage that. Sometimes also people believe that what they want to write about has already been said. But remember this, they haven't heard it from you, okay? You have a unique way of sharing that information. And you have a unique audience that has been predestined for you to talk to, okay? I don't care if 50 people have written on the topic. They haven't said it like you. They haven't illustrated the stories like you, okay? A client once said to me, sing the song in your own voice, because we all sound different singing that same song, right? But some people are going to be attracted to you. So you matter and your unique perspective matters. I have a client right now who is a professional licensed counselor, and she is writing on being gifted and what that means. And she also mentioned here, hey, there's other stories out there. Other people have written on this topic, but for her unique approach is she's funny. She uses the word quirky to identify and to identify herself, quirky. And so the way that she's telling her story is so unique and so good, and it's going to resonate with her unique audience, okay? So getting clear on your why. Let's talk about that, getting clear on your why. Getting clear on your why reveals the what that you need to talk about, okay, in your book. So if you don't know what you want to say, you got to get clear on your why, okay? And so with our company, I start you off with identifying what is your purpose, okay? That's where we start. We start with author coaching. And within that author coaching, we talk about purpose, okay? Why are you here? It's so important that you get clear on that. Nothing else matters until we know what your purpose is, okay? And then we talk about your brand and then your message, okay? Why do we do that? Because as I said before, you absolutely have more than one book in you. I firmly believe that. But what is going to be the common thread that runs through all of your books? So, for example, I am an encourager, okay? It doesn't matter if I'm helping you write a book or if I'm helping you, or if I'm at the grocery store, I can't help it. I'm an encourager. So if I write a book, it's going to be about encouragement. But what if I want to turn around and write a coloring book or a cookbook? Well, you best believe it's going to have encouragement in it, even if it's a cookbook. I'm going to learn about recipes that help encourage you to be healthy. I can't help it, but that's the theme of me. That's my purpose. Okay. So that's why it's important to know what that is, that what your real brand is. So no matter what you do, everything will be cohesive and it will be on brand. So I hope that makes sense. And then once we understand what your purpose is, we also then we need to know we need to answer the question, what is the problem that you're called to solve in the world right now? So you were created for a purpose, and your purpose solves many problems, but what is calling right now to be solved? Okay. So you may have 10 things that you do, but right now something is pressing. Okay. And so we go ahead and identify that. And that also helps us drill down on what it is that you are to write. So this whole process of the author coaching gives us a pathway to clarity, and then the what is revealed. Okay. So yeah, right now I just want to also say right now is the time for you to write, because it's never been easier to publish. And plus you'll have help. So I just want to throw that out there. The world needs your expertise ASAP. Okay, so we'll move on. Again, your voice is valuable and you absolutely have something to say. So the second challenge, you want to write, but publishing seems complicated and intimidating. Well, the solution to that is to follow the process. Follow the proven process. Okay. So what I want to say about that is that, first of all, everyone gets nervous in this process. I haven't met one person who wasn't a little bit nervous. What I call this birthing your book baby. Everyone is nervous. I am an author. Also, I was nervous. I didn't know what I was doing. Okay. So eventually I created a process that I wish I had had. Okay. So when you are following a proven process, it alleviates some of the fears. Okay. It takes that, a lot of people have a fear of the unknown. Well, there is not going to be an unknown. Okay. I'm going to be with you, holding your hand every step of the way. You will not be alone. But it does require your trust and willingness and stepping out on faith and saying yes and doing the steps. So our steps with the process, just generally, because we have limited time. It's a two-phase process. Phase one is the author coaching, as I explained earlier, where we are drilling down on your purpose and your why and your messaging and your target audience. And then we outline the book, and then the process is designed for you to speak your book out. Okay. And so that's the end of phase one. Phase two, that's where we deal with all the technical aspects of creating a book, the editing phase, the interior design, the proofreading, your cover, and and the printing of the book and all of those things. Okay. So that's a general overview of the process. A lot of people say, when dealing with this, hey, I'm not a writer. That's a fear that comes up. And we smash that, because you do not have to be a writer to have a book. There is a difference between being an author and a writer. An author tells stories, and a writer writes for a living. That's my definition. Okay. So our process is really designed for authors. Now, if you are a writer and you want to write, you can write, and I will give you the process for that. Okay. So you have no excuse If you say you're not a writer, we've got you. We got you covered. Some people say, well, who would want to read this? Like I said before, you absolutely have something to say and somebody wants to read it, particularly your target audience, which we will also research in depth during the author coaching phase, okay? And then, what if I fail? Everybody thinks this, right? What if I fail? So as a doctor, you understand process, okay? If you follow the process, you will not fail. You will complete your book. I tell clients all the time, the only way you fail is if you completely disappear and stop the process. Then you failed. But if you keep showing up, you keeping your appointments, we are talking, we're communicating, and you're taking a step, you're going to finish. I promise you. Okay. So again, when you get clarity and all that, there's nothing to fear. Okay. Move on to challenge number 3. You thought about writing, but you're already so busy. So where will you find the time? The solution is to set goals and embrace accountability. So again, we will give you a process to shorten your publishing time. I had my very first coaching client. Her name is Dr. Kate. She came to me and she needed a book. Within 3 months. She was going to be a keynote speaker at a large conference. And again, she's my very first author coaching client. She said, Dawn, I need this. I need it. So I said, okay, you have to follow every single step I give you. And she was super coachable. Okay. And we set the goals and she embraced the accountability and she had her book in her hand in 3 months' time. Now, that is super lightning fast. If you have more time, I suggest you take it. But it's possible if you're coachable, if you set goals and you embrace the accountability. And then I would like to ask you, how much time are you losing by not writing your book? I feel like you're losing time because your book could be, it could be being marketed. It could be marketing your business right now because it's circulating while you're sleeping. Your book could be beside someone's bed. It's going to get into places that you can't get into. I have a stack of books by my bed. Books, I mean, they're like right there. They can, touch people's lives inside of the house, people that you don't even know. There's just so many opportunities for your book to help others. Your book could be selling on your website right now. Someone could be contemplating coming to your office from reading your book right now. So, I mean, I feel like you're losing time and money by not writing. And speaking of time, let's talk about legacy. Do you know that you can live forever if you write a book? Your ideas, your experiences, all of that will outlive you. It will be here forevermore. So writing a book is part of leaving a wonderful, wonderful legacy. So let's talk about using your book to grow your business. A book can also be used as a business card. Okay. And so a business card what does a business card do? It establishes credibility, it helps build relationships, and it helps you gain exposure for what you're doing. Okay. So let's talk about the credibility. Writing your book instantly establishes your reputation as an authority in your field because people do believe what is written and they respect your discipline. If you say, hey, I'm an author, I wrote this book, people say, wow, really? It's very respected because you really sat down and took the time to do that. A lot of people don't do that. And then your unique ideas are documented forevermore. So that will be a wonderful thing. In order to gain credibility as well, your book should include your expert level content, testimonials from clients, people who will actually vouch for you, endorsements from people in your field and other authors as well. It will also include key interviews. Who do you vouch for? And we'll hear from Dr. Dexter Frederick a little bit later. And he included some interviews of some very prominent people in his book. So that's one way you can build that credibility. These are my old business cards from this was my maiden name and my other business, the Corporate Couch. But what is a business card? What does it do? A traditional business card is a marketing tool. That's what it is. It's used to identify yourself, connect with your market, provide contact information, differentiate yourself, and helps build relationships. Your social media platform does the exact same thing. You know, you identify yourself on there, you connect with people, you provide your contact information, you differentiate yourself with your, your posts and your reels and your stories and your pictures, and it helps build relationships. But when you become an author, your book is going to do the exact same thing. Now your book is going to be your business card. Now it is, it's an expensive business card and you're not going to be passing them out like that, but people will be buying them from you, okay? And your book is used to identify yourself in depth, connect with your market, provide your contact information, differentiate yourself, and build relationships. It is going to be your new business card. People will spend time with you through that book. They're spending an hour or two learning from you. It's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for you to share more of yourself and what you do. Speaking of credibility with a book and using endorsements, when I wrote my book back in 2016, I got an endorsement from Reverend Michael Beckwith, who has a large church out in Los Angeles, California. Well, he was then on Oprah's Super Soul Sunday. And so I could say, hey, this endorsement that I received from this prominent minister, he's on Oprah. So I posted that, and so this is an example of how you can use endorsements to build up your platform and your credibility if people don't know who you are. So you get endorsements from people that you respect. Here's another way. I use that endorsement on my Facebook. Well, that is me a couple of pounds ago. But I used that to help advertise the book. I also got an endorsement from an author that I really respect, Amanda Owen, and I loved it. I loved her book. And she was kind enough to give me an endorsement for my book. And so that's another way to gain credibility. Also, in your book, you are going to include client testimonials. So when someone gets your book, they don't know you. So when they open up, when they crack that cover, these client testimonials are important because people are saying, hey, I've worked with this person. I know this person. I've received services from this person and they were awesome. Okay. So that is another way to build up credibility with your book and building relationships. Of course, we talked about this increased social media presence. People are watching, and they're going to be feeling like they're building a relationship with you. You can also build relationships through being featured in more articles. There's a resource out there called helpareporter.com, and they look for experts like you to be quoted in articles. Building relationships will result in more speaking engagements for you as well, increased referrals, more radio interviews, more clients, ultimately what? More money. Also, increased exposure and income. Interviews and podcasts, speaking opportunities. That brings in cash, okay? People, sometimes people will buy your book and then hire you to come speak and tell them what your book says. That's okay with me. I can be hired to come and tell you what my book says, and you're going to buy it. That's a win-win right there. Okay. You're going to make money through audiobooks. You could turn your book into an audiobook. Online classes bring you money. You can turn your expertise into that class. Joint ventures and collaborations, workbooks. You can build your mailing list. There's money in that mailing list. Now you have a list that you can market other services and products to. Sponsorships. People, do you know that there are opportunities where, there's companies that'll pay you to write a book, or there's companies that'll sponsor your conferences? It's just a matter of being strategic. You can also have membership sites. It's another way to make money. If you have ongoing information to share, maybe you're interviewing people, or you have some expertise or workbook pages to share, all kinds of things. People will pay a monthly fee to be connected to you and to get that information. Your book, you can make money selling T-shirts with the book cover, or slogans that you use, or quotes in the book can be turned into T-shirts, mugs, journals, all kinds of things, stickers. I went to a conference recently, and there was a young lady making so much money through her book using stickers. I couldn't believe it. I had no idea, but people are doing that. And then licensing and selling rights, film rights. You have a good story, somebody wants to maybe turn that into a movie or a television show. You never know. And you can also translate your book into other languages. We translate people's books into Spanish and other languages. But we definitely encourage you to translate your book into Spanish. Just be ready. You never know. So why work with us? Again, we offer author coaching. What does an author coach do? This is my job. I help you determine your mission and message in the world. Like we talked about, helping you with your brand, helping you overcome fear, identifying your business strategy, identifying those products and services that you can make money with off of your book, your target market, strategies for getting your message out there, your outline, organizing your content in the appropriate format, providing methods to help you either speak that book out or helping you with a schedule so you can write that book. We help you complete that manuscript, provide the technical services as well, like the editing and the cover, the proofreading, the layout, and so much more. Other benefits, this saves you time. So you don't have to, go to various places trying to figure these things out. Everything is here. We save you time. We save you money. I'm holding your hand through the process. There's no need to fear. I'm right there with you. So we just demystify the process of writing and publishing a book. We also provide you with that accountability. Everybody needs that, right? I will say that I'll call it a unique gift that I have. First of all, I have experience working with doctors. One of my first jobs was at Yale University School of Medicine, working with my brother-in-law, Dr. Butch Rosser, where I learned how to work with doctors so I understand the unique needs of doctors. But I do want to highlight this. I'm able to pull the story out of you, especially if you think you don't have anything to say. I promise you, you do. I have a unique way of being able to get that information out of you. I'm not a counselor, but I do have that type of skill. A professional counselor client of mine told me, hey, you can get things out of me, Dawn, that my own therapist can't get it out of me. So this process is very cathartic, and it provides you with a space where you can share your story in a non-judgmental way. So I do want to throw that out there. You will feel so much better just getting your story out there. Okay. These are some other services that we offer through the Owens Publishing Company. And this is also on our website. You can go and look at that. So just as a wrap up, if you like the idea of writing a book but not sure what to talk about, I hope I explained to you that you need to understand your why first. That's what's tripping you up. You want to write, but publishing seems complicated and intimidating? Doesn't have to be. Follow the proven process and you will complete your book. You thought about writing, but you're already so busy. Set those goals and embrace the accountability. You'll get there. Is it worth it? What are the real benefits to becoming an author? Hopefully I gave you that solution: credibility, exposure, building relationships. But I do want to ask you this one last question. What will be the impact on the world from you writing your book? Greater impact and greater influence, which is what this is about. I'll talk to you about Dr. Kate Walker. She wrote her book a few years back. She now has some different Facebook groups, thousands of followers. She has a podcast. She's doing great things, and she's influencing the world. I'll throw my own testimonial in there. Because I said yes to what God was telling me to do, to write a book, my book has taken me to Sharjah, United Arab Emirates, and even to Vietnam. My book was featured at the Sharjah International Book Fair. There were 1.5 million books on display. Less than 100 of those books were from African American people. Okay, so I took all of my authors' books over there and exposed them all. Okay, writing a book can open doors and change your life. And I'm fortunate enough to be able to help other people. Oh, I tear up. I'm so grateful. This is just a few books that we've helped, a few authors that we've helped. But they're out there changing lives and influencing the world. And I'm so grateful for that. Here's another one of our authors, Carolyn Drone. She went from obesity and grief and all these things. She stepped out on faith, wrote her book, featured in a women's journal. Her book has now been translated into Spanish as well. Lisa Gadsden McCraney, she stepped out on faith and wrote her book. She was recently on a television show and was able to tell her story to millions of people. That's impact and influence. And one of our greatest success stories is Dr. Dexter Frederick, who's the author of Flatlining, Reviving the Heartbeat of Diversity in Medicine. He's absolutely one of my favorite people. And I'm going to let you hear from him. He's going to tell you about his success stories and working with our company and what has happened to his life as a result of becoming an author.
Dawn, this has been fantastic. I'm overwhelmed, and I knew about your business, but the way you presented, clearly this is not just your profession. This is not just your livelihood. This is your ministry. And that absolutely came through. A great presentation. I'm so excited to get started. And we are, as you said, going to bring in one of your greatest success stories, Dr. Dexter Frederick. We'll allow him to give a quick introduction of himself and then tell a little bit of his story. After I ask you one question to get us warmed up, I also want to let our audience know that there will be an opportunity for some of your questions to make it through. So if you would take the time as you're going through and thinking about what you heard, give us a question in the Q&A chat box, and we will review those, get as many of those in as we can. Just before we bring in Dr. Frederick, who I am welcoming to NMA Live, Dawn, tell us, in your opinion, what makes a book truly exceptional? Are there specific qualities or themes that resonate with you personally? Answer that question, and then we'll turn it directly over to Dr. Frederick.
I think authenticity, and again, that comes from you knowing your why, and telling great stories, knowing your target audience and being able to speak to them. speak to them in their language, tell them the types of jokes they want to hear, spinning it the way they need to hear it. Those things come through. Those things, that passion comes through. And then, adding a little spice to it, that'll rope people in.
Little zhuzh, I call it a little zhuzh.
Zhuzh.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got a little Lowry's,
Okay.
spice things up. We need that.
All right.
So
Thank you for that. Those are good qualities. Dr. Frederick, the floor is yours. Why don't you briefly tell us a little bit about yourself and then the topic of this book? This is a hot time and a hot topic. So do share a little bit about your journey with TPOC, and then we'll go to a few more questions before the call is done.
Absolutely. Well, it is a delight to be here. Thank you, Ms. Calloway and Ms. Dawn, my coach, my friend. Again, my name is Dexter Frederick. I'm a physician. I am double boarded internal medicine pediatrics, and I am currently the CEO of Brain Expansion Scholastic Training, which is a nonprofit community-based program that encourages and nurtures the next generation of physicians and healthcare professionals. And I am also the Associate Dean for Diversity at Loma Linda University. So it's a delight to be here, and what a journey I have been on since I wrote my book. So as I mentioned, I run a nonprofit organization with some great people here in Florida. And over the years, this year makes 20 years. But about 3 years ago, I decided that, there is so much information that that I have, so much that I have seen in terms of the journey of young Black and Brown students who would like to pursue medicine, and their struggles have just been tough, right? And I said, I'd love to share my journey, because my journey was not a straight journey to this goal of becoming a doctor, and to demystify the goal of wanting to be a physician, number one. Number two, demystify the fact that going to medical school is a straight path, and also demystify the fact that failure is your endpoint and a period, whereas it should be a comma. So I said, there's got to be a place where I can put that. And it so happened that while I was thinking about this, I went to a conference and I met Ms. Dawn Owens, and I was just sharing that with her. And she said, well, I'm a book coach if you need my help. And when I first met her, it was just like, oh, I want another book coach, someone who's just trying to. But I gave her a call. I went in faith. I saw the seriousness of it, as you said, Joy, the fact that this was a ministry. This was more than just someone who wanted business. This was someone who looked into your soul, looked into your eyes, and know that you had a story to tell. And so we started that journey, and I will tell you, one of the things she did for me is to remind me that I do have a story to tell, that my expertise from the 20 years, at that time was 17 years, of producing the next generation of physicians needs to be told. So I know that if you work with her, I know she's going to pull that message out of you. She truly has a gift. I know, number two, that you will not fail. And then also she's going to minimize the stress. I mean, we're busy individuals, but she had the ability to put me at ease. And I got through that book with the process. There is a process, and you've got to follow it. And after, I would say 8 months or so, 8-9 months, I had my book, Flatlining, Reviving the Heartbeat of Medicine. At that time, I did not know where we would be in history, but the book speaks to, I'm going to detail, but the book speaks in detail about, number one, my journey, number two, how to navigate and support the next generation of physicians, and what the number of mentors and mentorship paradigms that can be used to encourage those young people. And number three part of the book is that I gave you a template of programs you can develop, you know, in your own communities that you can you know, create and initiate. And then lastly, you heard she talked about sometimes you can interview, you know, individuals. And I interviewed some individuals in my community, some physicians, because of the journey they've gone through. And I thought it would bless young students and colleagues just to know that we're all on this journey in healthcare, and you know, it's not a straight road. So out of the book came confidence, and like she said, sometimes that book can be your business card. And the book was on the market, and it was noticed by a few individuals, and the Loma Linda University was looking for associate dean, and they brought me to speak on that topic. This was the year before I was employed by them, and that was my interview. The book and the
Amazing.
and the keynote address that I gave at the university. And now I'm the associate dean, and I'm also have had significant exposure to the AAMC, to NMA. I'm on the COBS board, and it's a delight to use my influence to bless the next generation of physicians, which I plan to do. And yeah, so
That's
that is a nutshell.
awesome.
And
Thank you.
it's been a delight, and
Talk
it's
about-
been a welcome.
Talk about ministry begetting ministry begetting ministry. That is a really good thing. I love just the legacy feel of this work. So a couple questions in the queue already. Broadly, people are asking already, Dawn, how to get in touch with you. Dawn, and it's owenspublishingcompany.com. Just that simple. www.owenspublishingcompany.com. I'll ask Jennifer to get it out on the waves in the chat so that people can see that. There are questions about the cost structure for your service, and if there is a consideration for those that are here tonight. And what Dawn does is, as she meets with you individually, she goes over that cost structure with you, and she has agreed to offer a discount to new NMA members. So if you are a active and financial NMA member, she will ask us that when you all get the opportunity, and she will apply a discount to her services, because this will be considered a benefit of your membership. So and I want to thank you for that, Dawn, when you have those conversations. One of the questions in the queue is, do you strictly deal with self-published authors, or do you work with authors interested in traditional publishing? As she is answering, continue to keep those questions flowing in. Dawn?
Yes, self-published authors. I mean, if you are traditionally published, then your publishing house hopefully is taking care of you. Now, if you have been traditionally published and you want to come over to this side, yes, I will help you figure out what your next step should be as well. But we generally work with people who are self-published, want to self-publish.
Wonderful. Dr. Frederick, this question is for you. Can you talk a little bit about how you have marketed your book? It seems like you've given us the pinnacle that ended you up at Loma Linda, but are there other things that you did and worked with Dawn on in your marketing plan? And come off mute for us, Doc.
Sorry about that. Yeah, so of course, you know, you have a launch date. You have a date that you're going to launch. It's out. And then, you know, in terms of the marketing, we also talked about different social media. So we did a Facebook Live and LinkedIn. So one of the unique things I did, the book was coming around right around my birthday. I don't know if you remember that, Dawn. Yeah, so what we did is that I promoted my birthday. And part of that was, you know, as you celebrate with me on my birthday, I would like you to celebrate this book launch and allow this to be my birthday gift as you pre-order or buy a book. So I used that approach because it was right around the same time. And then since then, you know, there have been conferences that I've attended, and also schools have asked me to speak, and I've brought it to them. And of course, with our academy, all our students, um, have had the ability to read the book and also, reflect on it. So either their parents, their teachers, and because I have an academy already, it's a ready-made group of individuals that means I'll give you this quick experience. I was in Florida at that time, and then I went to Loma Linda, which is in California. And then there's a summer program this past summer, and a grandparent bought my book, and she gave it to a young man to read. And that young man got selected to be part of the summer program. I had not known that. So while I was there on a panel to talk about my journey as a physician, he said, "Dr. Frederick, I just want to let you know, I read your book." I was like, "You did?" He said, "I read your book. My grandma gave it to me. And I just want to let you know, you made being a doctor reachable, something that I can do. You spoke to me because I spoke about my athletic journey and the fact that I got injured, and I talked about the bones that got injured. And as an athlete himself, wanting to go into medicine, that spoke to him. And that just reminded me that you just never know who you're going to touch, never know who you're going to, put a seed, plant a seed, and see where it grows. So it's more than the now and the marketing now, but it's
Very
grown.
helpful.
Absolutely.
Very
And
helpful.
just
Thank
piggyback
you.
off of that with
Sure.
with Dr. Frederick, when we were in the process of writing the book, and I do want people to you have to define what success is for you. I don't necessarily push. Look, if somebody says, "Oh, I want to sell 1 million books," well, that's a great goal. That's a great goal to have. But what are you? We're talking about influence as well, and what you want to accomplish with that. So I remember some of Dr. Frederick's goals, and we would talk about that he wanted to have a greater impact, and be able to talk about this subject and be able to provide solutions to institutions. This was before he got this job. Like, he really set that intention for this book. So, sometimes people say, "Okay, well, you didn't sell 1 million books." Well, he's in a position to have impact beyond and provide so many opportunities. To me, that's the success, of your book. Whatever that intention is for you. Okay. And so his intention was impact, and boy, did God exceed our expectations.
That's fantastic.
Sure
Thank you
did.
for
He sure
sharing.
did.
I've got another question in the chat, and then I have a one I'd like to ask. As a medical student, I wrote a children's book about dermatological conditions in children called Silly Spots and Happy Dots. I promise you, I feel like I just saw that somewhere. I promise you, I just saw your book, the person who sent this in. In terms of social media marketing, is it better to market as a lifestyle page or strictly about the book, Dawn?
I'm looking at this. I think I would need to have more of an in-depth conversation, because I need to understand her purpose. I need to understand her brand, and I need to understand if she's going to have other books as well. Yeah, I just need to understand a little bit more before I can answer that properly. And so if she would like, she could feel free to get on my calendar and we can talk through that.
Wonderful.
And I can give her a more customized answer.
Thank you. And let me offer this too. I think hopefully everyone that has called in tonight and been part of this wonderful experience will be in New York in a couple of weeks at the National Medical Association's annual convention and scientific exhibition in Manhattan, New York. Dawn will be there and she will be available to aspiring authors that are at the convention. We also have Authors Corner. We have 7 authors. As a matter of fact, the last person that, the last question is someone who will actually be part of Authors Corner, that gives NMA members who are registered for the convention the opportunity to market, to sell their book, to talk about their book, to interact with people who have an interest in the topic that they have, about which they have written. So I just wanted to offer that little shout out there. Dr. Frederick, there's a question in the chat about how people can connect with you. So I know that your website, medicalmemorymachine.com, is available to people, and I'm guessing that there's a way for them to get connected with you there. Is that the appropriate way?
That's one way. And then the other way, I don't know if you want to put it in the chat, but Dexter at drfrederickmd.com is one way, but those are the two ways they can do it.
Thank you. Well, it looks like we have time. If there's one last question from the group, get it on in the chat. But I am interested to hear from both of you all, beyond your professional role and the work that you all do day to day. Do either of you have a personal favorite genre or type of book that you find yourself gravitating toward? Don't jump to be first, whoever, or you're both thinking. I see your faces. They're both thinking. All right. Whoever wants to.
Yeah, I'll go. I'll go
Okay.
first. If
Go ahead.
so, I love history. You know, history it's amazing how, you know, you try to live your life on a daily basis, and then you realize nothing is new under the sun, and just different kaleidoscopes and different ways of how it presents itself. So historical, especially in my role now, I am soaking up African American history and different forms of health disparities that exist, and in different communities, rural communities, and urban cities, and just the history of us as a people. So I'm really into history.
Good, thank you. Dawn, what about you?
I'm always into faith-based books and stories of resilience and self-help. You know, I'm always looking for how to improve, how to strengthen my faith, and how to encourage people in that as well. Even in this process of taking people through the process, you know, faith is key. You know, and I want to always be in a position to encourage and help people through that process. So I just try to stay up on those type of books.
Your gift of encouragement is oozing through this screen. It's oozing through the screen. We have a couple more questions and about 3 minutes to get through them. How many pages should a book be? Is there a minimum or a maximum? Dawn, you want to hit that quickly?
Oh. Most of the books, I would say, are about between 150 pages. Now we're talking about a 6x9 book. About 150 pages maybe.
Okay.
Or it could be less.
Yeah.
And again, it depends on your target. Right? You know, it's hard to just say, hey, it should be this or it should be that. It depends on your target audience. Do they like to read? You know, some people love a long book. Some people want a shorter book. If Dr. Frederick's book was targeted towards institutions, you know, maybe they favored a shorter book. So again, we have to do some work,
some digging
on who you're talking to. Who are you talking to? We have to know their likes, their dislikes. We have to know something about them, and then that will dictate some of these answers.
Got that. Someone has suggested, they said, or asked that they're an author registered for NMA next month. Look for the authors section, could not find it. It is because the Authors Corner experience went like hotcakes. Once people knew that we had 7 slots available in the exhibit hall, they went like hotcakes. So we are going to keep that in mind for next year, see if there's an opportunity to extend our slots. Hopefully we will still be working with the amazing TPOC and Dawn Owens. And so just stay tuned for that, but do take the time to visit the Authors Corner when you all get there. So I'm going to ask each of you to just give us a 30-second, literally 30 max, close this evening for what specifically you want this membership to know about your writing experience, your journey, this process. Let's keep it really focused to that, and know that we will have more time with these folks, hopefully in New York. I'll start with Dr. Frederick and close with Dawn.
Yeah. So again, if the experience I had with Dawn exceeded my expectations, you know, the proof is in the pudding. My confidence grew. She minimized my stress.
Mhm.
She showed me the end at the beginning.
Mm.
And I needed to see that, to say, me, an author, I could really do that. Having some of that imposter syndrome, well, that was shattered. And I drove through and did the work that I needed to do. And grateful that we met. God brought us together.
Thank
And
you.
I knew it was a God thing. So
Thank
thank you,
you.
Dawn.
Thank
And
you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for
Let's
allowing
have
me
you.
to serve you. I mean, as Dexter hears me say often, we're all going together.
Mhm.
We are all in it together and we're all going together.
Mhm.
So,
Your closing thoughts, and then I will close us out for the night. Anything else you'd like to add, Dawn, before we close out?
don't let anybody tell you that your story doesn't matter. God has given you a vision and a message and a gift. Share it. We need you right now. As you see in the world, these institutions are crumbling and people are looking for light and hope and encouragement or direction and education, motivation, whatever it is. They're coming to you.
Right.
So share your story. It matters and it will make a difference. You have more inside of you to give beyond what you do. Use this avenue that's available for you and the help that is offered to you. Let this be your sign.
This has been so encouraging, so much more than I even expected, and I already knew you were fabulous, Dawn. A pleasure to meet you, Dr. Frederick. Thank you. I'm interested in grabbing your book and reading it and learning more. I'm certain that the anime will be in touch because that's a hot topic right now. We're talking about it in a lot of places. We thank you for your membership, your service with our partner organization, the COB. Thanks everybody for being here tonight. As I said, I'm hopeful that we get a chance to run into you in New York at our convention. We are so excited about Authors Corner, having Dawn there with us. And as she said, there's so many stories here, and we want to help bring those stories to fruition through this partnership with TPOC. And also for those authors who are interested in being part of an NMA Live like this, next year, we will have some slots to do that in this fashion. It'll be part of your marketing plan. And as NMA members, there is a special offer for how you might market and do that in a way that makes sense for your goals and your budget. Jennifer Young, thank you for wonderful producing always. We appreciate you. Y'all have a great night tonight. Jennifer, close us on out. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.